You're Nazi and you know it, clap your hands! You're Nazi and you know it, clap your hands! You caught him in the mud and you lose your fucking job! You're Nazi and you know it, clap your hands!
Thank you. God bless you. Nothing wrong with allowing people in the country, just people who are getting it illegally on, buddy.
Shame on you, man. Shame on you.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, why don't you go protest the Hudson Bay Company? Come on. Hey, what they did to our people, First Nations people. Hey, what do you go protest there?
We do.
Look what happened to the First Nation people. Why don't you go protest the Hudson Bay people?
It's okay.
What they did to our people.
Hey, my friend.
Use your mouth.
Just come on over here.
Nazi scum! Get out of here, Nazi scum! Fuck you, Nazi scum! Nazi scum! Get out of here, you fucking Nazi scum! Drop dead, Nazi scum!
Which one? In this one.
Hey, what do you disagree with his sign? He says illegal.
Yeah, illegal. How are human lives illegal? We're in a refugee crisis right now. We got people crossing all over the place because they need a home, and we're telling them that our home is illegal for them? Fuck that. Sorry.
Okay, but he himself is not saying something that is not already. He's not anti-immigrant. He's not saying anything against immigration.
The fact that he has come here to this rally a week after what happened in Charlottesville, he's making a point, and you know he's making a point. And I don't agree with the point that he's making.
He has his opinion.
Are you against legal immigration? No. You're for legal immigration.
If you apply to come into this country, absolutely you should be allowed to.
So why do you think people think you're a racist?
I don't know, because I don't know. Judge it. Read my sign. Does that say anything racist?
Her point is that.
No, read it, my friend.
No, your sign is not saying anything racist.
I am for immigration.
Yes.
No problem. If you apply to come in this country, no problem.
Okay. So her point is that you're doing this after what happened in the United States?
No.
Okay. So because you're doing that at this rally, she's saying that you must be a racist.
I was told that this rally's for immigration too.
Okay. So you have no problem with diversity in Canada?
No way.
So why do you think you're getting such a strong reaction?
I don't know, because people think that judge a group of me with others. That's why on the way up here I asked make sure I stayed away from where Aryan people would be or someone. My child's not even white.
So what do you think about like Nazis and white supremacists and stuff, people like that?
What do I think of them?
Yeah.
I don't agree with them at all.
Okay.
We're all equal. You cut us open, we all believe the same.
So we're all equal except those of us who come here illegally.
Illegally.
Those are worth less, right?
No, I said they should do it the proper way.
Okay, but if they can't, if there's too many of them, if the
They're all in
pathways aren't fast enough,
the United States.
what's that?
They're all in the United States.
They're all in the United States, so you want to push them onto our neighbors instead of taking them in?
So what's your point when you say they're all in the United States? Like
the ones that are crossing into Quebec illegally, crossing over the border illegally, I believe they should apply to get in like everybody else does. I got friends from Africa who've applied to brought their wives over. They had to wait years to get them in here, and that they had to work hard to get their family in here. And I don't believe that crossing over on your own illegally is right. You look at other countries. You cross into their country illegally, you're shot, you're killed. In other countries in this world.
But you're not advocating for shooting and killing.
No. I'm for applying to come into the country properly.
So what happens to those who haven't come here properly?
They should be sent back to where they came from.
Back to where they came from? So they're war-torn lands?
Right back to the States.
So if they come from a war-torn place, or they come from a natural disaster, they don't have a country anymore? Sea level rise has destroyed their homes? What then?
The United States is a war-torn country. They came from the United States.
Haitian refugees right now. Those are the people who are coming in from Quebec right now. From Haiti.
They've been living in the United States for 6 years. They've been living in the United States for 6 years.
Because they've been going through the processes trying to immigrate. Right.
So why do you think so? Why do you feel so strongly about this? Has this affected you personally in any way?
It affects every tax-paying person. That money, that's whether it be to feed, house, or whatever these people coming over illegally, can be used for social programs, can be used for children, everything. Schools, they're closing down hospitals throughout this country. There's no mental institution in British Columbia. Why? There's no money, they say.
So your money's worth more than their lives. Your tax dollars are worth more than their lives.
What about my life? What about my child's life?
So those are worth more than everybody else's because you live here already?
Right.
Because we've been paying into it for like 50 years almost.
So the amount of time that you've lived here hasn't depended. That's what makes your life worth more. Is how much time you've lived here.
How would you?
We've all been paying.
How would you respond to her saying that all lives are the same? All lives have the same value.
All lives are equal.
Not fair because your money is getting distributed.
Somebody coming from a let's say someone is coming from another country that is suffering from war crimes and stuff.
But they're not. They're coming from the United States.
Alright, but what if they come from another country that is?
How would they get in here illegally? They have to show up off the plane.
What if they're coming from the U.S. because they're afraid that the U.S. is going to send them back to the country?
They're not the only ones having to deal with this. The entire world is dealing with this.
I'm sorry.
No, he's being. I don't have a problem with his questions. He's being polite.
It's affecting us here because it's affecting the
What if
entire
somebody's
world.
coming from the U.S.?
Yeah.
This is a global country.
They should apply to the U.S.
No, but what if
before we are Canadian citizens?
But because if they go back, wait, can you answer my question? Because if they go back to the U.S., they're going to be sent back to their country.
Possibly.
In that scenario,
Nothing's for sure yet.
but in that scenario,
No one's been shipped yet.
okay. But if that was the case, would you support them? If that was the case, if somebody going back to the United States will make the United States send them back to the
U.S.
If the U.S. sends them back to the
North Korea,
if the U.S. sends them back to
start shopping bonds, we won't have to worry about anything.
I know, but my point is that if they were being sent back to the
What?
Very brave of you to stand alone speaking your mind.
No, it's
No matter what, I don't see any Nazi signs.
No, I'm for people coming to this country, but properly, but due process, applying
So what
properly.
happens to those who don't come in properly? We're asking you.
Then they should be sent back to where they crossed.
They get sent back.
What if that would kill them?
He sent them
The United
back.
States will not kill them.
What if the United States sends
No,
them
but
back?
then if the burden falls on the U.S., we're sending them back to a safe country.
Okay, but what's the priority? Making sure people don't break laws or saving people's lives?
In this country right now, we got to protect our laws. We're opening the doors for everybody to walk in. What happened? Why shouldn't everybody just show up here then? Everybody's family at some point showed up here properly.
I've got a Filipino daughter-in-law.
So you're basically advocating for just having the law, enforcing the laws.
Enforcing the laws that were put out.
So why do you think so many people?
I don't know. Why don't you ask her?
I'll ask.
That's all I'm saying.
So,
And for me
do you think he's a Nazi? Or
I don't think he's a Nazi.
Do you think he's a bigot?
I think he's a bigot. Yeah. I think he's a bigot and he doesn't understand why. I don't think he understands that when you have people who are crossing it illegally and then you send them back, you're sending them back to an extremely undesirable situation.
Okay, but not understanding that does that make him a bigot? Because he's okay for people from all races to come in if they come in legally. He's saying he's pro-diversity. He thinks all people are
He thinks the law is worth more than human life.
I know,
That's
but
what I'm hearing.
that might make him wrong, but doesn't make him a bigot.
Well,
if he's a bigot by accident, he's still a bigot.
No, because for you to be a bigot, you have to think all people are not equal. He thinks all people are equal. He just thinks he's advocating for enforcing the law.
He's advocating for policies that treat all people unequally. And you're saying he's not a bigot, even though he's advocating for those policies. We can disagree, but effectually he is a bigot.
A bigot that doesn't know he's a bigot?
A bigot that won't admit it.
Okay.
Why didn't they apply then? It wasn't until they were found illegal and kicked out that they came to Canada.
But what do you say to her point that people's lives?
in the original German.
I am not by any means against immigration, but I'm against illegal immigration.
But her point is that saving people's lives is more important than
We just spent $30 billion. Trudeau just spent $30 billion. Does anybody know where? 30 billion, guys. Have we got enough money to take everybody in the world right now? Have we got the money? We're paying for it. You guys are the taxpayers.
But her point is that our lives are not more important than other people's lives.
No, I get it. And it's not a question of that. This guy don't see a Nazi sign. I see nothing. I give him balls. One guy walked up to this mob of haters. These are the haters for a guy speaking his free mind. Isn't it clear enough? Terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
All right, so that guy, you disagree with him, and you think that people's lives are more important than upholding the law, right? But do you think that's the way to respond to somebody like that? By silencing them, by attacking them?
I don't think it's silencing him. I think that, yeah, when you're chanting shame, hate, whatever, all those things, before he had a chance to speak, that was silencing. And tearing down his sign, I don't condone that. Not okay.
Not okay.
His sign, I don't believe in the message, but it was definitely, he has the right to hold it up. We do have freedom of speech in Canada, and it is something that needs to be upheld. And it needs to be upheld so that when those people come out here and they have bigoted demonstrations and they have their bigoted signs, we get to counter-protest and come out in giant numbers like this. And if they couldn't come out here and do that, we couldn't come out here and do this. And that is so important to me.
And this conversation that you two had is more valuable than people trying to tear up his sign. Like, don't you think that's what we need? More conversation?
It's a lot more valuable, but when you've got this kind of anger, and especially the fact that this is a week after what happened in Charlottesville, that is super, super inappropriate. He knew that he was coming here.
He said that to be fair to him, he said that he said this is a protest about immigration, so that's why he came up with.
He might have been misled then, because on the official event page on Facebook, there was a lot of white supremacists who were coming. It was going to be disguised as an anti-immigration rally in order to allow their freedom of speech to be upheld. If they were calling it a hate rally, they wouldn't have been able to have it. So they disguised it as an anti-immigration rally so that they could be here. I get that, and maybe he didn't get the memo, but everybody else sure did.
And do you think if there was actually white supremacists here, do you think they should be allowed to speak?
No, I think if you're promoting genocide or you're saying things that are qualified as hate speech, you should not be able to be here.
But how can we challenge bad ideas if we don't even let them express their bad ideas?
That seems odd, because I think that the fact that they're bad ideas is already challenge enough. The fact that they're considered bad by society, we don't need.
Yeah, but if we silence them and they go into their corners, it's going to grow in darkness. Wouldn't be the best way to fight bad ideas is to shine a light on them? And wouldn't the best way to shine a light at them is by letting them speak, so people recognize the problem, people know that this is something that we have to deal with?
Most things grow better in light than they grow in the darkness.
Well, Nazism white supremacy has grown in the United States until now. I think most people didn't even know that it was growing, but now they realize that it's a problem because they're expressing themselves. And now people are taking it seriously as a big problem. But I think, but don't you think like not hiding it and silencing people will make it a problem that people don't know that they need to challenge? And you know, when people are not hearing your side of the view, they live in their bubbles and they always think they're right. But if they come and express themselves and challenge openly, don't you think that's the best way to change their opinions?
Nazism has been coming out into the light in the United States, and last week the first woman died on U.S. soil fighting Nazis. So the fact that there's a correlation between the first death by the hands of Nazis and the open, coming into the light of Nazis in the United States tells me maybe there's something there.
What if my response is that the reason why they're encouraged right now is because Trump became president, and Trump, the disaster that is Trump, was possible as a reaction to the PC culture that was in the United States. They drove it ground under so much, and it grew without people recognizing it so much until it came out and bite them back as in a way of Trump. Don't you think always knowing that this is a problem and going to them and talking to them and telling them why they are wrong instead of demonizing them and shunning them away would be a better way to fight these bad ideas?
I'm going to use an analogy. If I have a garden and I have a bunch of weeds in my garden, I'm going to put a big tarp over top of them and I'm going to leave that for a season and I'm going to let them all rot underneath that tarp in the dark. I'm not going to pull the tarp up and let all the weeds grow and say, maybe it's going to be easier to kill them once they've grown.
But people are not weed. Bad ideas grow.
But ideas grow like weeds.
Ideas grow better in their isolation. Ideas grow better in their bubble.
That's probably where we disagree then. I think that ideas definitely grow better in the light. When they're brought and you're allowed to discuss them, that is when the amphitheater effect happens. That's when ideas start to culminate and turn into movements and turn into ideologies. And that is the worst thing that we could possibly have, a Nazi ideology developing in North America in 2017.
All right, thank you.
It's not welcome here. It's not welcome here.
Fucking Nazi scum! Fuck that Nazi scum!
Welcome here. It's not welcome here. It's not welcome here. It's not welcome here.
No, without the credit.
Where's my security detail? It's not welcome here.
What you're saying.
It's not welcome here.
I'd like to have a private conversation.
It's not welcome
We will.
It's not welcome here. Welcome here. Come on,
put your security, asshole, in a hole where you belong.
You know, you can still change. You can still learn.
Ugly. Hey, your mustache. Fuck you and dead inside. Go on, go back where you belong. Get out of here.
You're a coward. Sad.
You're on your own, asshole. You don't have to get out of here. Send them home. Boy, hit it. Keep them moving. Get them out of here. They're going out here. We don't want hate in Vancouver, asshole.
I would even consider maybe me.
I would consider going to hell.
Do you think that's going to change his opinion?
No.
So why?
Because sometimes we get emotional in the face of hate.
Thank you for your help. The police, not the nuts.
Yeah, no, I know. No,
People in the world?
One-sided. I believe everybody's welcome to come here.
You just have some people.
Everyone's welcome. Everybody. Yeah. But why are some people more welcome than others?
I know. I believe if you apply to come into the country, absolutely you're welcome. Once the government says you're allowed to come in. But once if you just walk in and say I'm here.
Sir,
no.
are you half white?
What?
Are you half white?
Am I partially white?
Yeah.
Yeah, it dates back to the Vikings.
Did Christopher Columbus apply to come to Canada?
I wasn't part of Christopher Columbus.
I'm just wondering, that's your background.
You're First Nation.
Yeah, no, I'm First Nations. I'm free.
Too.
I get it. I get it. You're part. But at the same time,
you know what the Hudson Bay people did, right? To the First Nation people? Nobody's down at the Hudson Bay protesting. Right? Why aren't the people protesting in front of Hudson Bay?
What?
Did your grandfather get here?
What he's talking about.
He's saying that he's not against immigration. He wants more immigration.
No, he's out here for attention. Is what he's out here for. He's out here because he doesn't agree or whatever. Easy immigration.
He just wants to derail.
But wasn't this supposed to be a protest from like different opinions? So isn't everybody here for a reason?
Everyone's here entitled to their own opinion for sure. I just think that like it's bullshit. He's feeling like this wouldn't have happened had Trump not been president.
But what is he saying that you disagree with? He's saying that he supports legal immigration and he wants more, not less of legal immigration. He's just against illegal immigration. So what is he saying that is bad?
He's saying that because he's alone right now.
Yeah, no, his sign that he came with.
Exactly.
No. The sign that he came with. The sign that he came with already said on it illegal immigration. It doesn't say white supremacy. It doesn't say.
Why is he at a protest that is pro-white supremacy, that is pro-Islamophobia?
Immigration.
That's not what it states. It's anti-Islam was the statement that people are here for.
He's understanding as that this protest is about immigration. So what is?
Said it was immigration. I am not for Aryan or anything like that. Both my children are non-white. My missus here, she's First Nation. Her children, two of her children are non-white.
Okay.
So when Americans say like people from Muslim countries aren't allowed to immigrate to their country, that's fine.
That's the American. Deal with the United States. Protest the Americans.
You're a disgrace if you say you're native. Peace, brother. We disown you. Hey, you claim to be native? No, you're not. No, you're not. You learn your bigotry, your ideas, your ideology from school, from the white man? Go back to the old ways. Find a sweat lodge.
Boring. I'm in the suburbs, right? So, the project's pretty big, so it's like 14 hospitals.
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of most.
What's this say?
This is a Kekistani flag. They're like memes.
Some people say that these are neo-Nazis.
Yeah. This is like the old German Empire flag, and then the Nazis used it in World War II.
So what do you say to people that say that these are hate symbols?
I think they're used by people who are hateful, but I think a lot of people just use them for fun online.
Okay, so
I think it's a lot of it's just like, I feel like people who are against racism should be a little more self-reflective, maybe.
People who what?
Should be more self-reflective.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you know, like be able to take a joke.
Right. People that are anti-racist, they should be able to take a joke.
Yeah.
So how could they tell if something is a joke and somebody is there actual racist? Wouldn't joking? What do you say to people that joking about racism helps racists hide behind jokes? You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
So what do you say to them?
I don't know. I'm okay with it. I think it's just.
You're okay with so basically using symbols like this that are and joking about like trolling people as if you're racist but you're not racist. Doesn't that help racists to push their agenda? But then when they're called out on their racism, to be told that so that they could use that excuse that they were also just joking and they're not serious. What is this?
They're doing interviews. Why are you giving them a platform?
They're conversating.
Why are you giving us a platform?
What do you
Why are you supporting this as a platform?
This isn't the platform.
I think the point is that they're asking questions about why the symbolism is being used here, and then this person is giving a response.
Why are you? You are interrupting.
I think that what's happening here is you're being an aggressor.
It's his platform, man. Why are you taking away his platform?
We're all anti-fascists here. I don't think that this person's being a fascist. I think that you're interrupting a perfectly good interview.
Yeah, if anything, like he making a joke on the symbol.
Like he's got the 4chan Kekistan flag and Pepe the Frog. You know, like do you understand these symbols? Like I understand these symbols. Like I wanted to ask him about why he would bring these symbols here too. But like, give everybody their chance. Give him a chance to talk to this person who's interviewing them.
Well, you see,
have your chance to talk to him afterwards.
Everything has been hijacked one way or another. This has been hijacked. This was an internet meme to be laughed at.
This has been meme since 2004.
For so long.
Yeah, again, why are you blocking this dude's interview? He's just trying to do an interview. Why are you doing that?
Because why are we giving him a platform for this?
Why not?
Because he has the right to free speech. And
yeah, it's his platform. He is choosing for his platform. He wants to interview this guy.
Actually,
have the right to be in a public place.
You
have a right to be a piece of shit.
So, what were you were saying? Like, how do you respond to people that...
Cowards? Cowards? You want me to talk cowards? 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 Total fucking cowards. Total cowards. Where y'all hiding at, boneheads? Come on out. Let's hear what you gotta say, boneheads. 2 uncles died fighting this fucking war. You wanna talk to me?
How do you respond to people that say joking about these things make it easier for people to be racist and get away with it?
True. I don't know. I feel like we're just always gonna have racists, right? We just have to keep having the conversation. But then if we just focusing on like one side of the conversation, like we're just gonna push racists like more and more into their politics, right?
So, but what if?
For example, like that guy didn't want to let me talk.
Right.
So then that would make, if I was a real racist, that would push me farther away, right?
Right.
So but I'm more open to like discussions, and like I think sometimes you can use comedy.
But you're not a racist.
I'm a liberal.
Okay.
But then I think we can use like comedy to like help talk about hard things.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you think we should give a platform to racists?
I think we should let them talk, because if their ideas are wrong, they can speak about it, and then their ideas will like get challenged, right?
Right. But what if we give them a platform that helps them spread their ideology? What would you say?
Well, I think we all agree racism is objectively bad, right?
Right.
Let's go for 3, asshole! Let's go for 3! 2-0! That's the number! We won this war! These are some of my best criticized people. You're talking to a half-breed Indian. Fuck you!
That's a Métis flag on it.
No. I have facts. You're a fascist pig.
Tell me about the like who was Muhammad?
Exactly, that's an irony. That's what it is.
Of course. Go ahead. This is a lesson in Muhammad, sir. This is a lesson on do not fight.
I think
after
communism
a raid on the
Nazism.
My uncles are buried.
I think
My uncles are buried fighting this war 75 years ago today. And this guy thinks that's bad.
It's an information war is what we're fighting here.
Move out of Canada. Move out of Canada. We don't want you here. We don't want you. Yeah, you're fascist asshole. That's all there is to it.
Ignorance that's the problem. Have a conversation. If you can inform yourself.
About the Quran.
Yes.
You're holding a Quran and you're supporting fascism.
How do you know I'm supporting fascism? I never said that.
You're arguing with me. Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have, sir.
This is a fascist book. If you read
Quran is a fascist book, everyone.
Yes, it is.
Quran is a fascist book.
Yes, it is.
So is the Bible.
Oh, so is the Bible. Okay, so how come you don't think both?
Why engage?
You do. So he's a fascist too then. Because he's condemning Islam just like me.
No, I think you're allowed to dislike religion and still support humanism.
He's saying because I criticize Islamic immigration that I'm a fascist.
No, it's because you're here at an anti-immigration march, you fucking idiot.
Hey, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fuck you, fucking twit.
Yeah, fuck you.
Why you don't agree?
Yeah, you want to fucking...
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
2-0, buddy. Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
you lost 2 wars.
Yeah.
You kind of people are fucking not welcome in Canada.
Tell me something.
You understand?
Can you talk about Muhammad? You can't.
Muhammad!
It's religion. I don't
care.
care.
This is ignorance. We're not here to ignorance right here. We're here to talk about just ignorance. Leave. Just ignorance. Okay. Don't give me any more attention. He was a pedophile. He married a 6-year-old girl.
So this is how you justify being against immigration in 2017?
No, go ahead, man.
I don't want to breed a culture of pedophilia in Canada.
So you think immigration is going to breed
Immigration has a history.
Give you that history.
Have you ever read a book? I've read this one, retard. It's in the book. Whoa! 65-4. You want to look it up? You can't, right?
Alright, so in statistics, countries that allow Islamic immigration, do they have large rates of pedophilia enforced compared to the rest of the country?
What's the age of consent in Iran?
You're not going to win anyway. What do you do?
Sex is rights isn't why we're here right now. We're here about fascism. We're not here arguing the wrong point. No, he's not. Fascism.
You don't care.
What does it feel like to wake up crazy? No, why don't you tell me? Because I'm just talking fast. Well, ableist. Adios, then it's the sign. Tell me what. Non-violent. Tell me what. Non-violent protest. Just I refuse. You want to arrest me? Arrest me.
I'm not going to arrest you.
Well then, that's the end of the conversation. Well, I've heard this one before. This is non-violence.
We're not violent to him.
I'm not worried about any of these people. To be honest, I believe they're misguided. They're deceived.
What is your level of education?
Yes. Actually, why don't we speak about direct?
What is your level of education?
Which part of the valley are you from?
Do you have any post-secondary education?
Yes, I do.
What do you have? What do you have?
Giving out no personal information. He's the talk. You want to talk about the subject at hand?
I'm reporting for the Durham Strait.
Your level of education on Islam?
I'm reporting for the Durham Strait, and I'm asking you, what is your post-secondary level of education?
And I told you I have post-secondary.
What does that have to do with anything?
What does that have to do with school? Yes, I've read this book, and you have it. So what did you read about it? And I'll ask you about your education. You know nothing about Muhammad. You know nothing about the Quran. You know nothing about the Hadith. And you I don't know what I'm talking about. I know a lot more than this than you do.
How do you think Somali immigration will create an Islamic caliphate in Canada?
Look at the history.
What is the history of that?
You should go!
Give us 1 sec, okay? We're dealing with it.
Why do you read a different book? The only terrorism is Nazism!
What's your name? Excuse me, Price, what's your name?
I'm not giving out personal information.
I don't think we have to turn.
Do you have a title of the book?
The Quran. Do you have? You're not proud of who you are. You can't even admit who you are. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm here talking, aren't I? But you're clearly not proud of who you are. If you want to admit who you are. I'm standing up for truth. I'm standing up for the 270 million people that have been killed in the name of Islam, and you're not.
Don't you want your mom and dad to know you're here supporting this?
What about the hundreds
Don't you want your family to know you're here?
So we are keeping out of the country, right?
Try to rip this guy apart, and have you ever really listened to what he's saying? Sure, we might not agree with what he's saying, but I see other people around here, it's like they're ravenous, like they're almost like animals wanting violence. Do we really need that? We can listen to him still. We don't have to agree with this guy. We don't have to yell fascist or racist, or we don't have to be.
Why don't you inform yourself and we can talk about it? What's wrong with that? Right? You can't inform yourself. Why, before you come and do this story, a real journalist would inform himself on the subject matter, and you don't. Why don't you inform yourself? Why can't you inform yourself?
Can I know that? Can I ask a question? So you find verses in the Quran that are problematic.
I read the Bible. Thank you very much.
So you find verses in the Quran that are problematic, right? But do you think the Muslims are following those verses? Do you think every Muslim is following true to the Quran? Like, what if there are many Muslims that have never even read the Quran and they're better than that book? What do you say to that?
I absolutely agree with what you're saying. And this is one of my primary motivations for speaking with. Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Who are you working for soon, buddy?
Yeah.
Who do you work for?
One of the primary motivations I have is to inform Muslims about the true Quran, about the true Islam. Because many of them from Islamic countries have no idea. They've never read the Quran.
I do the same thing, and I'm an ex-Muslim, okay?
Yes.
So, but what I do, I think an effective way to do that is not to...
Just move out just a little bit.
Move out. But everybody move out a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Move out. I think the best way, if, you know, I agree with what you're saying about that book, but I think the best way to talk to Muslims about it is not to say, like, this is a fascist book. Sometimes talking to...
But that's true, and the truth has to be said.
Yeah, it is true, but the best way to approach it is to, you know, people won't listen to you if you call them. Move back a little bit. Move back a little bit.
It's not about...
There's two...
I know what you're saying, okay, but I don't say anything about Muslims, I'm talking about Islam. Those are two different things. Now, I agree, some people, they personally attack Muslims, but a Muslim really cannot be defined, because a Muslim, I could have been born in Saudi Arabia. I could have been born there, and I could be a Muslim today if I was born there, right?
Right.
You know, so I can empathize with them, because the penalty for leaving Islam is death, and a lot of these people, they have no idea that that's actually true, and they don't have any awareness about what it is they're fighting. Like, they label me a bigot and a hater and a Nazi just for speaking the facts about Islam. They're just useful idiots, and I want to talk to them.
So given that this seems not to be working, right? What do you think would be a better strategy?
Believe me, I've spoken with many Muslims, and there's always someone that afterwards, like in the moment, they may not say that they agree with me, but afterwards they're going to go home and they're going to rethink things. They can easily research it now with the internet, the truth about the life of Muhammad, the truth about Islam, okay? And people do think for themselves.
Why do you think people react to you like this without even listening to you?
Because one day, these people believe that they are morally superior, right? And they have been brainwashed by academia and the media into thinking that anyone that opposes Islamic immigration is somehow a Nazi, which is ridiculous.
But you just said that you're not against Muslims, you're against Islam.
Yes.
So if you're against Islam but not Muslims, why would you be against immigration then?
Because Muslims bring Islam, okay? And we can see from a very clear picture of history what happens. I mean, if we turn this into an Islamic country, who's going to help the Muslim countries?
But most Muslims are not following Islam, right?
So that's not true. That's not true. Most Muslims are following Islam. You can't say most Muslims, by definition they're following Islam.
No. Do you have a card, by the way, if I don't have it?
I don't have a card, but if you have any other questions, if you have a card, I'll contact you.
Racist,
They're trying to protect you. They're trying to protect you. Muhammad said, "He that leaveth his Islamic religion, kill him." And it's written to the he that leaves his Islamic religion, kill him. If you read any book on Sharia law, any of the 4 schools of Sunni Islamic thought, any one of them, if you read the Alliance of the Traveler, which is signed off by the IIIT and Al-Azhar and Egypt, that's why you're a Muslim.
Can I tell you something? You listen to me.
I shouldn't read books, I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, Islam is all about intentions. So if
no, Islam is about the Muslims. Let her speak. She lets you speak. Okay. She lets you speak.
So you yourself don't believe it. You yourself. So there's no Islam if you don't believe it. No, so if I say I'm not, who's gonna hear it?
If you're in Saudi Arabia, what do you think of that?
Nothing.
Yes.
I know Saudi Arabia.
So do I. Yes, I know people in Saudi Arabia.
Reading books. How many Muslims did you actually talk to?
In Toronto, I spoke with many Muslims. I lived with Muslims in Toronto twice, okay? So I have no problem with Muslims. In fact, I want to talk to Muslims. I would often meet Muslims and get their number, and we talk about Islam, okay? Because they often have met Muslims from all over the place. Often they have no idea that what I'm saying is true.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Are you okay?
What I'm saying is true.
Can you explain to me why you're here? Why are you here?
I'm here today because these people are not informed about Islam.
So you're saying you are?
Yes. I've read the Quran and I've read and it's not just this, I've read many books about Islam. I've read much of it. I have the Reliance of the Traveler at home, and I study. Okay, so I know much more about Islam than probably anybody here.
My question to you is, how does me being a Muslim, me choosing to be a Muslim, bother you? Why does it bother you? My life, why does it affect me?
It's not about you. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about Islam. Right? I'm Muslim. You'll notice when I'm talking about this subject, I mention Islam. Now, Islam is not something that you get to define. There's no Islam for you and you. There's only one Islam, and that's what I'm talking about.
Muslims are the same thing.
Not the same thing.
When Muslims choose to follow Islam,
you have to get your terminology straight, because that's important. A Muslim is a human being with a belief, okay? Islam is an ideology that's codified in law for hundreds of years, okay? Islam is about 1,400 years old. So you don't get to change Islam, okay? There's only one Islam, and under Sharia, if you decide to leave Islam, that warrants a death penalty, okay? Warrants a death penalty. And these people hide behind their ignorance, you know, and they have no information. I'm having a conversation. Is that okay with you? Can I have a conversation? What?
Social media is awesome.
It's not something that's to be read. Like, very
oh, yes. That's not true.
maybe, yeah.
That's not true. When was Muhammad born?
That's not what we have
This is my point. This is not an attack on you. But you just said, I'll never know Islam like you, and you don't even know when Muhammad was born.
How does that distinguish whether or
That's
not
the basic fact about Islam. That's the most basic fact about it. How many Catholics?
Islam is 5 pillars.
I know this. Why do you think I don't know that?
Then why is it the date that he's born? Why does that matter?
Simply to illustrate, most Muslims don't know basic facts about Islam.
The year he's born is not the way I practice.
Yeah, basic facts.
No, that's a basic fact. No, numbers, memorizing numbers is not that.
No, but I don't know that. There's a lot else you might not know. Right? Like you.
Look, you can read all of the books that you want.
Oh, shut your mouth and fucking, what are you reading? They're having a conversation. I am listening. They're trying to occupy your little fucking 2 million. They're having a conversation. I'm having a conversation about it. Guys, go on, okay? Go ahead.
Look, okay, you can read all of the books that you want about Islam and about the history of Islam. You understand that books are written by people. There can be certain things in there that are incorrect, which is highly interpretive. Like I said to you, we can all interpret certain things in the Quran a different way, and some things in the Quran are not meant to be literal.
So when
the Quran itself has been translated so many times by human beings. So if somebody writes something in there that may or may not be read a certain way, that's their interpretation of it. And we all practice Islam. So instead of reading several books about the history of it, this is good. You're talking to us. Speak to people that actually practice it, that live it in their daily lives. We're around you. We live the same way that you do. We're all living within the same culture, within one country.
So when Muhammad says to fight those,
when
Muhammad says to fight those that believe not in Allah, what does that really mean?
Look,
you don't know. What's your interpretation of that?
Different historical religions. There have been so many religious leaders, whether Christian during the Crusades or whether there was a certain time in history where leaders said certain things about non-believers and the way that life was in the past. Everything was about conquest and about land. But we don't live in those times anymore. We evolve and we interpret the Quran according to the modern day.
This is the eternal book. You don't know much about the Quran because this is revealed supposedly this is revealed by the angel Gabriel to Muhammad. There we go.
Like we said, supposedly.
Yeah, so if you don't believe that, that's fine. But if you believe that, are you saying you don't believe that? But you're saying you're a Muslim.
Interpret the Quran.
Kind of a contradiction there.
Yeah, and not the others. Yeah. And by the way, if you read the Quran, if you read the Bible, and the values that they teach,
can I tell you something?
You don't know that. Let me respond to that. Let me respond. Why do you compare? Maybe even some of these people can probably understand this one. If you compare the life of Jesus to the life of Muhammad, okay? Jesus. Hey, hold on. They're talking. Jesus is the example for all Christians. Muhammad is the example for all Muslims. It says right here in verse 33:21. Okay? Now you agree that Muhammad is the example for all Muslims. And Muhammad did marry a 6-year-old. Muhammad was a rapist. Okay? Now those two facts alone.
I like how you married. Did you live in that time? Were you in Muhammad when you married a 6-year-old? No.
He married Aisha. How old was Aisha? You know? You know who Aisha was?
Yeah.
How old was Aisha?
6 when
there we go. Am I right? I think that I'm right. And I think that you people know what you're talking about.
Dates and numbers.
Guess what? To the 6-year-old in Germany that got raped in the name of Islam, it does matter.
The point is that religion has evolved so much. And what one man did or didn't do in his
the example for all Muslims. That's the problem. He's a rapist and a pedophile. That should matter.
Ku Klux Klan! Why are you allowed to be here? Should I be scared of you?
That's not the example of Jesus. This is
That's like me saying,
yes, I'm trying to be a Christian. So Jesus is
you guys were playing with
yeah, that's why you haven't read. You can't quote me one verse because you're an ignorant dummy.
You're a disgrace to these people.
You're an airhead. These people are Muslims. I'd be more interested in speaking to them. Okay, so what were you saying?
ISIS represents Islam, right? And you said you should take off your hat and stop being a fucking pussy.
Why do you put on some fucking stuff in your hole? I don't want to do that. Put some clothes on, lady. I'll go home.
I want you to take off your sunglasses.
Why do you get away from
Show your face! Show That's not very productive.
We should continue this conversation. You guys enjoyed the discussion, right? You guys don't think calling him out, like, silencing him like that is a good idea, What do you think about that interaction and how people responded?
I think it could have been productive, like if it carried on just like us and him, but like a lot there's too many people. He got insecure and felt like he was being attacked, I guess, and like he became more defensive, and so like as he became more defensive, it was harder for us to like talk, to like explain ourselves, I guess, like, and he wasn't listening to understand what we were saying. He wasn't listening to, you know, to open his mind. Like his beliefs were like were really strong. Like he didn't want to change his beliefs. Like he was like hard-headed. He was like stuck on those beliefs. He wasn't listening to understand, you know, why we choose to be Muslims, what Islam means to us, you know. He was listening to know how to reply to us.
What do you think about the way the crowd reacted?
I don't agree with it.
You don't agree with it? Why?
Because it's not productive. If anything, it just made him more defensive and made him less willing to understand. You know what I mean? He's gonna use that to be like, oh, these are people supporting Muslims. They don't understand anything. Look at the way they're treating me. You know? If anything, it creates a bigger division. You know? And he's not gonna listen. If anything, it's gonna make him listen less.
You talked to those Muslim girls after they were having the discussion. What happened after? What did they say?
Oh, well, we had a really good conversation about condemning extremist views and extremist values and the problems that exist within the Islam religion. And it turns out that these girls who were Muslim, they didn't just believe 100% in the Quran. They said that if there was a rally against ISIS, they would be there. That they actually condemned different surahs, like I think it was Al-Anfal 8:12, about cutting heads and hands off of disbelievers. They condemned these things, and they even said that the crowd that was around them when they were talking to the gentleman in the hat and the sunglasses, they didn't like that crowd who was yelling about not being Islamophobic and Nazis and white supremacists. These people think that they're helping, but they're not helping because the crowd's not helping because they're stopping the conversation. You know, whether or not you agree with what that gentleman was saying, you have no right to drown him out. When we live in a country with free speech, and those girls also agreed that people can approach them and have a conversation. It's the people around them that think they're helping that actually stop the conversation. How can we fight racism? How can we come to agreements? How can we condemn extremist values if we can't even have a legitimate conversation about it? This is the reason that Trump won the election, is because people are tired of leftists, Antifa, whatever you want to call it, drowning out conversation. Trump, I don't like Trump. I personally am not. I don't support Trump. I think a lot of his stuff was stupid. But I look at people and all they do is condemn what he says. They don't, anybody who supports him, they don't have a conversation. They call them racist, they call them white supremacists. How can anybody learn from each other if we're just gonna label you all something? You know, that's the reason Trump won. The right people who believe in talking about things, having conversation, are tired of leftist people drowning out the conversation. They vote for Trump because we have two sides. We have one side that's the leader of these people who say, shut up, you're a Nazi, you're this and that. And then we have someone who's at least trying to have conversations about things. And the reason he wins is because people want to have conversation. And you know what? Doing this isn't what's going to make Hillary Clinton win. It's not what Bernie Sanders is going to win on. Bernie Sanders will win when I can go and I can talk to a leftist supporter and have a conversation without being called a racist and that. At least I can go and have a conversation with people. That's the thing. It's conversation. Trump wins because people are tired of this, of the swearing, the yelling, the you're this, the you're that. I'm not a Nazi, I'm not a white supremacist, and I have certain fears about Islam, and I want to have a conversation. If you call me a white supremacist, well, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not even going to argue with you because I can't. I can't have an educated conversation. And at the end of the day, that's just what it is. It's either educated conversation or shut everybody up and nobody's going to listen to you in the end.
You're a Nazi and you know it, clap your hands! You're a Nazi and you know it, clap your hands! You're caught up in the mob and you lost your fucking job! You're a Nazi and you know it, clap your hands!
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! How about Muslim lives matter? Muslim lives matter! Muslim lives matter! I believe that we will win. 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 You got your people? One more while we wait for the drummers. Drummers, please approach the circle so you can drum for us as we clear out of here. How about don't give in to racist fear? Muslims are welcome here. Don't give in to racist fear. Muslims are welcome here. Don't give in to racist fear. Muslims are welcome here. Don't give in to racist fear. Muslims are welcome here.
What's good, Miley? Miley, what's good? Huh? What's good? Vanilla terrorism got to go! Bye, vanilla terrorism!
So in Charlottesville, Virginia, now I just want to make it clear before I talk, I don't support white supremacy or the KKK, and I also don't support Antifa. What happened there was a group that who had a, what is it called, a permit to do their stuff, and all of a sudden a leftist group came and clashed with them. It ended violently with both sides doing wrong things. Obviously that white supremacy did a lot worse, and it ended up with the death of a young girl. Not a same situation, but here in Vancouver today there was a 2 p.m. booking where people who were on the right side said that they wanted to come out, have a conversation, have a rally, and then all of a sudden the left side said, okay, our rally's going to be at 12:45. I can't remember what news site, News 11, something like that, where I saw that, but I'm like, somebody books, it doesn't say that we want to drown out the leftists, we want to talk anti-socialism, they want to talk about the problems they believe in, and then all of a sudden this leftist group comes out and say, let's arrive 2 hours earlier, let's drown them out, they're Nazis, they're this, let's not give them a platform, let's not give them a place for conversation, and then you see what you saw today. You saw people trying to have educated conversation, and then other people drowning them out. How can we learn about what side is which? How can you label them Nazis if you arrive early and you don't even give them a platform to talk about? These people say that they're protecting, the Muslim community, they're protecting the black community by drowning out these people, but no, you're just taking away from free speech. If they are Nazis, let them talk and then talk back. You give your side back to them. But the moment that you come and you just call everybody a Nazi, they've already won. They've already won.